Hi everyone, can you hear me properly? Yes. Yeah? Okay. So I'm aware that we are running a bit late. So normally what I say is if you have any questions, just ask me while I'm talking. But in the interest of time, to try and keep the flow of the talk, if it's okay for you to make a note and ask me questions after, I'd really appreciate that. Is that okay? Yeah. All right, so today's talk, it's called Minimal Harm Purchasing. And I'm going to just explain a bit about why we've got that talk here today, even though it says health and well-being. So, do you ever feel guilty about buying something made of silk? You don't have to answer, you can just think about it. Yeah? Do you ever feel judged if you wear suede or leather shoes? Yes. Okay. Do you ever feel misaligned, like there's no harmony between your thoughts and your actions, when you remember that your furniture is made of leather? Yeah? Do you ever feel unsettled when you think about the fact that the fur on your coat might not be fake and it might be real fur? Yes. Okay, so all of these things will affect your mental and emotional well-being. They will affect your health. They will affect the fact that your mind is busy thinking in different ways. You've got a duality of life going on, in that you want to live one way, but you're actually living a different way. So that's why we're talking about this today, yeah? Okay, so, and before I carry on, some of the things that we'll talk about, I will create a fact sheet after, so if you want that, if you'd like the information sent to you by email, if you just drop me a note at heena@plantshift.com, you don't have to remember that, there's some cards on the table, and then I'll send you the information. So, just a raise of hands for 3 quick questions. Do you think it's easy to buy vegan clothes? So they're not made from leather or suede or wool or silk or fur. Who thinks it's easy to buy them? Oh, interesting, okay. Who thinks it's easy to buy vegan shoes? Not easy. Okay, and what about cosmetics? Hair, cream, makeup, nail polish? No? Okay, wonderful, then you're in for a treat. So, sorry, I forgot I have to press the clicker. So this we've talked about. That's the email address, but you can get that from the cards. So, some of the non-vegan materials that are used in clothes and shoes and handbags and any other thing you can think of, scarves, are wool, which are often a cashmere, mohair, angora, all different types, leather, silk, fur I mentioned, I didn't mention feathers. Often it's referred to as down or down feathers. So there's some of the things we're going to be covering today. I haven't included any graphic images, so you don't need to worry about that. There is one that's particularly horrible about what I'm going to talk about, but I haven't included it. So what's wrong with wool? Most of the world's wool comes from Australia, and the most commonly raised sheep in that country are called merinos, so they're merino sheep. They are specifically bred to have wrinkly skin, which means that you get more wool per animal, so it's all about profit and production. This unnatural overload of wool causes many sheep to collapse from heat exhaustion during the hot months, and some die from it. And all that so that we can have woolen scarves or cardigans or coats or whatever. The wrinkles collect urine and moisture, which attracts flies to lay eggs in the folds of the skin. And the hatched maggots then can eat the sheep alive. Yeah, exactly. These are things that most people don't know. So to prevent this, no consideration for the animal, this is all about the wool. To prevent these maggots and flies and everything else, the ranchers do something called mulesing, where they restrain the sheep, they get their arms and their legs and they tie them up to this metal thing, and without painkillers, they remove large chunks of their skin to create smoother skin so it won't collect the moisture or the urine to avoid the flies, so they get more wool. These open wounds can also attract flies, and actually it negates what they're doing anyway, but that's the horror side of wool. It will get positive. I'm going to tell you a few horrible things and then it will get positive after that. Okay, so leather. So leather, factory farms and slaughterhouses are all connected. I know a lot of people, especially in the Indian community, think I'm vegetarian, I don't do any hinsa, I don't do this, I don't do that. Dairy has got nothing to do with leather. It actually has. I'm not going to talk about dairy today. I'm only focusing on clothes and shoes and makeup and all that kind of thing. But I just wanted you to know that there is a connection there. So leather can be made from cows, pigs, goats, sheep, exotic animals such as alligators, ostriches, kangaroos, as well as dogs and cats. Most leather comes from developing countries in India and China, where animal welfare laws are either non-existent or they're not enforced. There's no policing to make it happen. In India, there's an association called, well, the PETA Association is international, but PETA in India, which stands for People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, they did an investigation where they found that workers break cows' tails, rub chili peppers into their eyes, rub tobacco into their eyes to force them to get up when they collapse from exhaustion because they're making them walk to the slaughterhouse. So they're exhausted, they're collapsing, but they need them to move, so they do all that stuff to kind of force them to move. In the US, many of the millions of animals who are killed for their skin are in factory farms where they experience extreme crowding, deprivation and castration, branding, tail docking, which means they cut their tails off, dehorning, all without painkillers. Buying leather directly contributes to these factory farms and slaughterhouses. So just because we don't eat meat doesn't mean we're not contributing to all of this stuff. The skin is a profitable byproduct of the meat industry, hence the connection. Leather is also destructive to the environment and shares responsibility for all of the environmental destruction caused by the meat industry, as well as the pollution which is caused by the toxins that they use in the tanning to colour the leather. Silk. Hands up if you've been to a silk farm in China or somewhere and you've seen what they do. Oh, so not that many. Okay. So creating just a little bit of silk needs loads and loads of silkworms. Silkworms weave the silk to make the cocoons. If they're allowed to come out of their cocoons, the silk won't be intact because some of it tears for them to come out. So what they do is while the silkworm is inside, they either steam the cocoon, boil it, or gas them alive whilst they're inside so they can get as much silk as possible. Silkworms produce endorphins, which means they have a physical response to pain. So for those people who say, oh, they're only worms, it doesn't matter, they don't feel anything, it's not true. How many silkworms do you think it takes to make a pound of silk? Just call out a couple of answers.
Millions?
Okay, yeah, 3,000 to make 1 pound of silk. This is probably the worst photo of all of them, but it's still not that bad. So this is about feathers. So down is the soft layer of feathers that are closest to the bird's skin, primarily in the chest region. They are especially valued because they don't have the quills, so you just get feather, you get more feather than anything else. Most down and other feathers are removed from the ducks and geese during slaughter. However, birds in breeding flocks and those raised for meat and foie gras may be plucked repeatedly while they're alive, which is why you can't see it with this colouring, but where they've been plucked, it's all red and sore. They're usually lifted up by their necks or delicate wings, their legs are restrained, and their feathers are pulled out. Often the plucking is so aggressive that their skin is torn. Workers are known to sew up the wounds using a needle and thread without any painkillers. Plucking may begin when the animals are only 10 weeks old, and it's repeated every 6 weeks until the birds die due to being slaughtered, which is long before they would die if they were left naturally. One of the reasons people buy coats, especially with down feathers in them, is because it keeps you warm and it's light, but at what cost? Fur. So 85% of the fur industry's skin comes from animals living captive in fur factory farms. Animals on fur farms spend their life confined to cramped, filthy wire cages. To cut costs, the fur farmers pack the animals into small cages, preventing them from taking even a few steps backwards or forwards. Fur farmers use the cheapest killing methods available. Small animals may be crammed into boxes, poisoned with hot, unfiltered engine exhaust fumes from a truck. This isn't always lethal, so some of the animals wake up while they're being skinned. Larger animals have rods forced into their mouths or up their anuses to electrocute them. Other animals are poisoned with a drug that suffocates them by paralyzing their muscles with painful, rigid cramps. Gassing, decompression chambers, neck breaking are all common methods used on fur factory farms. Am I going too fast or is it okay? So, positive. It's easy for us to stop funding these industries. I know pretty much everyone said it's too hard to find shoes that are vegan or clothes or bags or cosmetics, but things have really changed, especially in the last 3 years. So I'm going to talk you through how you can make a change without doing anything major. And they're all these things that we're going to talk about are in mainstream high street shops. So whether you shop online or whether you shop in stores, you can check what the item's made of. You can check the label if you're in the store. If you're online, you can check the description of the item. You might have to click read more, but then it's all there. If you're not sure, you can ask a member of staff. There's no shame in it, and actually it will help them figure out what they're selling if they don't know. You can ask them, does it contain wool? Does it contain leather? Does it contain silk? Does it contain fur or feathers? They're the main things. You can even ask them if it's vegan, and they'll pretty much, most people will know about that term now. If you're buying online, for those of you who use social media, you can ask on Twitter, Facebook, you can email them. Most websites have a contact form, so you can use that. So there's pictures of these things on there. And some websites even have a filter to make it really easy for you, so you can tick the box that says no leather. And I know that's not wool and it doesn't cover silk and all the rest of it, but at least that cuts out a whole heap of things, and then you can look at the other things more carefully. Okay, so these are some of the shops where you can find vegan clothes, vegan clothes, bags and accessories, and this is for men and women. Now I've got a list here, so I'm going to read out the ones I've got here because you can't really fit them all on one side. It will be too horrible for you to see. So New Look, Dykman, H&M, Marks and Spencer's, ASOS, which is online, Dorothy Perkins, Bench, La Redoute, Fat Face, Zalando, Wallace, People Tree, Apricot, Mark Darcy, Topshop, Beyond Skin, Zara, Next, Primark, Massimo Dutti, Stella McCartney, Amazon, Matalan, Get the Label, River Island, TK Maxx, Banana Republic, Warehouse, Debenhams, House of Fraser, John Lewis, Gap, and many more. They all sell clothes, bags, scarves, accessories that do not have all those things that we just talked about. So easy? Yeah. Cool. Okay, and vegan shoes for men and women. I have bought vegan shoes from New Look, which is everywhere. Dykman, there's one in Harrow, but they're also all over the place. ASOS, which is online. Will's Vegan Shoes, which is a specific company. You can try on their shoes at exhibitions like VegFest, or you can order online and then send them back if they don't fit. There's a shop called the Vegetarian Shoe Shop, which is in Brighton, but they actually sell online as well. And Marks and Spencer's, which I've discovered are really good even for half sizes, for those who have slightly in between feet. So that's again, easy. Yeah, you're not going out of your way, it's not a big deal. And they're not really expensive either. You're not going to pay lots and lots of money to be part of cruelty, or to abstain from being part of cruelty. Okay, vegan cosmetics. So these are some of the things that will be in the non-vegan cosmetics. So the first one, Carmine, is made from powdered insect bodies. Would you like that on your face? Would you like protein from the collagen of dead animals on your face? Or in your hair, or anywhere else? Would you like fish scales that are scraped off dead fish? Protein from the hair, nails and horns of mammals? The fat that's derived from the grease in sheep's hair is the second from the bottom, lanolin. And the last one is sourced by squeezing oil from the liver of a shark. So if you don't want any of these things on your hair or your face, then these are some of the places that have vegan cosmetics, cream, shampoo, and again, I've got some more. So, fully vegan brands are ELF, which stands for Eyes, Lip, Face, which are, they have a, what do you say? They're commissioned now and they're part of Superdrug. So you can get their products in Superdrug. As long as it's a big one, then they have all their things. The big B in the middle stands for B is for beautiful. That is Superdrug's own range, which is fully vegan. They have makeup brushes and creams for men and women. They have beard oil for men, all sorts of things. Sukin, Pacifica, Rio Rosa Mosqueta, Moo London, Heavenly Organic Skincare, Purology, Arbonne, and Orchard View Naturals are some of the fully vegan brands. And then some of these brands that I'm about to say now, they're not fully vegan, but they have a vegan range and they're clearly marked or labelled. They are Dr. Hochaska, Dr. Bronner, Lavera, Green People, Marks and Spencer's, Lush, Body Shop, and Alba Botanica. So again, easy or, yeah? Okay. Vegan cleaning products. So, these are some of the companies that have vegan cleaning products, and then I've got some more. So, Astonish, which are available in Savers and those pound shops, or even those shops that sell everything, but they're not called pound shops. And they deliberately sell there and not really in supermarkets and other branded places because they want to keep their products cheap so that people buy them. And the minute they have a connection with Tesco or somewhere, the price is going to have to go up. So literally they are, I think the most expensive product I've bought from Astonish is £2.50, but most of them are £1. They do really good things. Allen's Naturally, Faith in Nature, Green Sense, Method, Ecova, Earth Friendly, Aldi's Eco Range, so Aldi, Ecoleaf, Ecozone, BioD, Sodasan, Splosh, Dr. Bronner, Sun and Earth, and Mrs. Mayer's. They're some of the ones that have, some of the companies that have cleaning products, but there are more. And travel. I can see the smile come on my face. So when we first went vegan about 10 years ago, and it'll be 10 years in April, and then our honeymoon was a few months after. And I don't think I really thought about it, but I must have been there subconsciously because when we went to St. Lucia, and the food was so amazing, I realised by my reaction that, oh, the food is so nice, that I must have in the back of my mind be thinking, oh, I might not get fed well. But it was fine, absolutely fine. And since then, these are some of the places we've been to. Brighton, Glasgow I haven't been, but I know they have loads of vegan food. Camden, Bath, Birmingham, they're all in England. And then we've been to Paris, Barcelona. They have amazing vegan food. Paris before, you couldn't even get vegetarian food, let alone vegan food, whereas now they've got vegan-only restaurants, they've got vegetarian restaurants with vegan food. It's just amazing. And we didn't even have enough time to try all of them. That's how many there were. Madrid, I haven't been, but I've heard it's amazing for vegans. Malaga we've been, that was a few years ago, and there's even more options since. We've been to Zanzibar and Marrakesh, had no problems whatsoever. Dubai, lots and lots of options. St. Lucia I told you about. San Francisco, where I tried my first vegan donut. So yeah, San Francisco has lots of options. New York I haven't been, but I've heard. And we've vegan river cruise. So we went on a river cruise in December, and it was with TUI, which used to be called Thomson. So it's not a vegan river cruise, but again, they had lots of options. They had vegan cheese, they had tofu, they had substitutes for vegan cream, they had all sorts of things. So we haven't had any problems while going traveling. So that's been really good. And that's it. I've sped through it because I know we're really running short of time. But I wanted to say thank you for listening so attentively. And if you have any questions, I can take a few now. And if not, I can take them after, like, no pressure. Okay, so just quickly. Yes, India's getting much better. Yeah, definitely. Yes, yeah, definitely. And the restaurants are catering for vegans as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I am vegan.
Oh, wonderful. Did you have? Oh yes, everything I'm wearing today, and my coat, which is behind my mum in the front row, that grey coat, which may look woolen, that's the reason I'm pointing to it. Everything I'm wearing is vegan, including the makeup and my nails, and as in the nail polish. So yeah, mostly polystyrene, no, not polystyrene, what's it called? Oh dear. I'll come back, polyester, sorry, I went blank. But there are many materials that are not made from animal products, that are synthetic. And yeah, and they keep you warm and they look nice and you don't feel funny or you don't feel stiff. There's no negative consequences, I think, from my wardrobe, which is now fully vegan. Including saris. There's so many, I love wearing saris, and I haven't got any silk ones anymore. And the ones I've bought, I make sure they're not silk. So, and I don't feel like they look awful, if that answers your question. Yeah?
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know the croc shoes, they are vegetarian or vegan?
I think they're both. Well, so that means, so if it's vegan, that means it's vegetarian. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're, yeah.
Non-Louis, you can get them.
Yeah, yeah. So just lastly, I just wanted to let you know I've got a recipe book. It's online, you can buy it on Amazon. It's a funny number, like £4 and 12p or something. That's how Amazon works it out. And you need a Kindle you don't need a Kindle to read it, but if you have one, then you can read it on there. Otherwise, you can just download the Kindle app, which is free, and then you can read it on any device. And other than that, I offer coaching to help people reduce the gap between their thoughts of becoming vegan and actually becoming it. I hope you enjoyed the talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Heena. That was very informative talk, and I'm sure all of us will have something to take back home.